What's going on, everybody? We are back here live here on the OT Radio Show, and man, we got a good show for y'all tonight. We are welcoming Dr. Jerry Dobbs. Yes, he is here to talk to your boy OT, award-winning editor, researcher, author, and editor-in-chief of Hype Magazine, a recipient of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, and he's a veteran. Yes, he's a veteran. Dr. Doby has helped shape the future of digital journalism and media. So while we're going to sit here and talk to him, we're going to talk to him about SEO media leadership, digital publishing, and his amazing Amazon best-selling book, The New SEO Playbook for Digital Journalism. So please welcome in Dr. Jerry Dobbs. How you feeling today, man?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Oh, man, better than yesterday. Better than yesterday, man. So first, man, I definitely appreciate you joining us here on the show. Wow. I mean, just having a conversation back with you in the green room was amazing in the things that we talk about. But let's talk a little bit, man, because you are award-winning editor, award-winning researcher, everything. What inspired you to transition from media professional to becoming a recognized SEO research and author?
Well, actually, I'm still in the media space. I'm still currently the editor-in-chief of the Hype Magazine. I started my media career in the digital space in between missions in Afghanistan in 2010. Mm-hmm. And it was digital space. I started with Yahoo Contributor Network. So it was digital. I didn't know a lot about the digital space. So I went to Yahoo Writers University, and then I picked up Examiner, went to Examiner Writers University, and then I picked up a little sideline with CNN iReport. It's defunct now. So I'm still in the media space. What happened was I started, and it was really wild. So the publisher of the Hype Magazine, during my undergrad, I was learning about search engines, and we were using Boolean searches. And I had an issue with using a separator. So I called Dr. Jamila Wilkerson. She's the founder and CEO of the Hype Magazine. I called her and I said, hey, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. It's a Boolean search. She says, well, if you use this separator, then you can find what you're looking for. That was the spark for the digital space. And then when I came onto the Hype in 2012, we were digital only. Then we went to print. Then we went back to digital. And I was wondering why our stories weren't getting picked up, why we were barely getting indexed in Google, et cetera, et cetera. So I began to use the Hype Magazine, the digital platform, as my digital laboratory, my digital research laboratory for search engine optimization. And it just kind of went from there. So I've been there 13 years. It took me 11 years to complete the project. I took a dual program. So I took my master's and my doctorate at the same time. I made it through with a 3.91, won the Legion of Merit, and got my dissertation published on SEO optimization for digital journalists. Got picked up in the Cognitions Scientific Research Scientific Journal. Then we got cited by a Chinese university. It was peer reviewed, cleared by the Chinese government on Redbook, or Red Note as they call it, Redbook, which is the alternative for like TikTok when it went down. And man, it was off to the races after that, brother.
Man, so talking about Hype Magazine and you being the editor-in-chief, how did that shape your understanding of the digital media?
Definitely through the process of trial and error, what was working, what was capturing attention, what stories and what topics were relevant to a broader audience rather than just local independent music related audiences. I've always been interested in communication, and so using the Hype magazine platform gave me the opportunity to explore cross-cultural communication, how to elevate digital stories from being the needle in the haystack, featured, status. And then when we finally figured out the algorithm, which my research is the key to the algorithm. So people credit me with actually creating the algorithm. And I'm sorry if, it's created difficulty in anyone's life, but it just is what it is. So, yeah, that was the spark. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So we talked off air, right? And you just brought it up when we talk about, your dissertation, and it got published. Now, China is real strict on things that they do. And for you to get recognized and published in China, I gotta give you kudos, because listen, they are strict down to the T. How did that feel at that moment, being recognized, not only in the United States, but being recognized in other countries? Because there's more. There's more.
Bro, I gotta tell you, China was the first. PLOS is the platform. And ended up on ResearchGate. When I got the notification through Google Scholar that I had been cited, and then I went, and it was a Chinese scientific journal that I was, quoted like 12 different times in that paper by Professor Wang. And to find out that it had been cleared through the Chinese government, gone through its 6-month peer review process. Man, I was excited to no end. I don't think I could say it. It would have to be in plain English, but I promise you, it was one of those. All the titles went out the window. I was just a kid, who felt validated, and knowing that I wasn't just swimming in a small pond. I was actually playing on the international level, and that I cracked the hardest nut in the world, as far as information is related to. Yeah, that felt really good. Then Lithuania followed, and then Lebanon, and somewhere in other Eastern Europe, like Bosnia or something like that, Yugoslavia. They just started citing my work as it applied to the digital media space.
How do you feel when you were going through your dissertation, and you're the founder of this? That's there is no peers that you had to go through.
No. I didn't have any peers. Yeah. No peers. It was frustrating. First of all, I had to rewrite my dissertation 5 times before it got accepted, right? And when it was finally accepted, I was really elated. And then on the defense process, I don't have any peers. So even those educators found themselves less than qualified to question my methodologies and processes and things. And it's nice being the first. It's scary being the first. But what I'll say is that for people who are buying SEO packages and these different marketing platforms, it's based on my work, on my IP, and we coming to get them.
Oh yeah, for sure. So why is SEO, and can you tell our listeners and people that are watching, what do SEO stands for?
SEO is search engine optimization, and it's the process by which you ignite interest in the algorithms in your subject matter, your topic, or you as a brand. It's basically a way to ensure that your digital footprint goes from 0 to 100 in short order. And now with the new innovations, with like the AI overview and things like that, it's even more important, because now that information pops out on top of the sponsored links and the regular indexing.
So why is SEO no longer optional for like journalism and content creators?
Because there are a million people with blogs, and they think they're writers, they think they're journalists, and you have a different citizen journalism platforms. And you have to be able to elevate yourself from the needle in the haystack status. And so there's some basic fundamentals that are just flat out mandatory. It's across all platforms in the digital space. They're inescapable rules. They're hard and fast rules, which I've proven empirically. And if you're a great storyteller, but you're not able to attract the attention of the algorithm, imagine that you're Langston Hughes and the algorithm is your only audience. You have amazing prose, you're telling great stories, you have, very emphatic feelings that you're putting forward into black and white, but nobody gets to hear it. How do you attract that attention? There's a methodology which I discovered, published, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you want to be notable, you have to follow certain rules. Same with actors and, other entertainers and creators. You have this process that you go through, and you spend your 10,000 hours learning the craft. Well, SEO chops 10,000 hours to 2,000 hours.
So explain that. The 2,000 hours. Explain that.
Well, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's, generally, general concept, but it's generally accepted across multiple industries. To be proven as an expert and be indexed, you have to be published. And then the search engines have to be able to pick up that content. That content then has to be verified by other sources, internal sources and external sources that validate what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't make it attractive, then it's not going to pick you up, and you're just going to be buried with other people who are talking about, oh yeah, I went to see Cats on Broadway. Well, 50 reviewers saw Cats on Broadway the same night you did.
Mm-hmm.
What's different in your story?
Mm.
So, without giving away the farm, the book teaches you how to make it personalized and attractive to the algorithm. So you take the scientific methodology, you make it more human and more interesting. This way, you not only come up in search, but you also come up in the AI overview, which is now the common goal.
Mm-hmm.
Verification. Let's say that.
So, not to give up anything, what are some, you could give me 2 pointers. What are some of the biggest SEO mistakes that journalism makes today?
Writing a book for a headline. Your headline should be chopped at 60 characters, and not having alt text and descriptions in your images, your photos.
Mm-hmm.
So not using the correct keyword, tying in the keyword with your subtitle, your subheadings, your meta description, and the alt text for photos. But the two biggest, 60 characters for the headline, because after that is chopped. Alt text for your visuals, because that's how people who do voice searches utilize the search system, and you have to have that. Those are the two biggest things.
So one of the things that I have recognized a lot with content creators, how can they improve their visibility without sacrificing their authenticness?
The best way now is to use first person when you're doing storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
And make the first 100 words of your narrative, relevant to your headline,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll lift you up.
Okay. So what does the future of the SEO look like with AI changing a lot and how people discover information?
Yeah, the future of journalism or digital first platforms and storytelling. Uh, you can use AI for certain things like grammar and whatnot, but there are so many red flags with just general AI, people who call themselves publicists or call themselves writers and send in a prompt to GPT or Claude or whatever without understanding what it is that they're asking. They're going to get back a bunch of generic garbage. Um, some of the things, the red flags that I look for immediately are when it opens with, in the realm of, or, as soon as it says in the realm of, I'm like, man, get off my line. It's going in the round file as soon as I see that. Publicists do it as well. But when you do that and you look for certain AP down style punctuation changes that AI fails to recognize, yeah, I'm not going to tell it because
Yeah.
buy the book.
Yeah, by the book.
By the book. Or you can go to, Google Scholar or ResearchGate and read the scientific paper. It explains it. But if you want it in layman's terms, you can go to Amazon. It's free to read on Kindle, but you could buy the book on Amazon, and it'll teach you. It's a handhold. I'm holding your hand step by step, from headline, subtitle, opening paragraph, the mind mapping of your article, everything, how to personalize it and elevate you from the murky depths to the crystal blue waters on the white sand beach. You heard me?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So one of the biggest things that I hear a lot when you talk about AI is the misuse of it, right?
Mm.
And a lot of professionals who are in the AI space say, you got to talk to AI like you're talking to a person.
Mm. What I
How
have
do you feel about that?
well, what I have found is that the more polite you are to your AI platform and the more complimentary you are, you wouldn't think AI has an ego, but it does, right? And it appreciates the niceties. If you just drop a query in, it's going to give you a generic thing, that could be just something that's mass produced. But if you take the time to make it personalized and give it your requirements and things, it will start to follow and it'll start to learn your voice. It'll learn how you write. You always have to, in the end, control it, and put your touch on it. I don't mind AI for production level kind of things where you have, for instance, at the Hype magazine, just in our inbox, in my personal inbox as editor in chief, I get 300 to 400 inbound submissions daily, 7 days a week from all over the world. I use AI to summarize the emails. Sometimes, it's missing a subject line or something like that. So I use AI to give me summaries, and then I can decide whether I want to engage further. If the subject line is even vaguely interesting, then I'll snap it over to the Gemini or whatever and have it summarize it for me, and then I'll decide whether I can follow the storyline and create a good narrative, a good feature story out of it. If I can't, then I don't waste my time. And I'm rude in my lack of response to things that I'm not interested in.
I wouldn't call it rude. I mean, it's just a
No, I just won't respond, brother. I'll just leave
yeah.
them leave them on red. Like,
So let's talk a little bit about media and how leadership is shaped, right? Um, how do you balance being a editor, a chief editor, and like demanding like all of like the clicks and the traffic, you know what I mean, and the integrity of it? How do you balance all that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If it's not a major feature story or a cover story, like we just published the digital issue number 149 of the Hype magazine with Angela Simmons as the feature on the cover. I don't care personally. I don't care about clicks. What I care about is being at the top of the algorithm. I don't care if you follow me on social media. I don't care if you say hello to me on social media. I don't give a damn. Excuse my language. My only purpose is to have that the major feature stories that we do and the time that our editors and correspondents take to do great coverage. I want to make certain that that is elevated to the top of the heap. And also, I sit on the board of several companies, a nonprofit called Track Society, which is an independent music foundation that offers tools and resources for the independent music community, not just artists, but you could be a manager, a publicist. But I'm also the vice president and head of communications for Jargo Media, which is a technology company that's in the media space and delivering original content for places like Netflix, YouTube, Aspire TV. Just completed an original film called Two Preachers on a Mission that is premiering, debuts July 3rd. You should go check it out, jargomedia.com. I love that platform simply because there is no official algorithm, unlike the others. I'm probably not answering your question, but
No. I mean, you're actually answering it. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're actually answering it, and I like the fact of you being honest. That's authentic for me, right? For a person just like, dude, I really don't care. I love that because that's telling me like, hey, listen, it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal, right? And now that ties into my next question is what qualities would you say will make a great media leader in today's digital landscape right now?
In my experience, what makes a great digital leader is the ability to take the new tools and resources and updates and create an SOP, a standard operating procedure that you can disseminate down the line to your contributors and writers or people who, add digital content to your platforms, giving them tools to work. But you first have to understand the nuts and bolts. Get your shovel, get in the trench, and dig that water line and help lay the foundation for the pipeline where information is going to flow. So without your leadership, without your understanding and being able to teach your team, you're useless. You're just like teats on a boar hog.
Yeah. So could you say something that I think that every company should have? And you say it's SOP, standard operation procedure. How important is the standard operation procedure, the SOP, in today's leadership, in today's company? Because there's a lot of companies that don't have standard operation procedure for a lot of things. I think it should come all the way down to the janitor or how you clean. You gotta have that, right? For everybody to be on one page, especially when you're dealing with companies and you being in leadership. How important is that?
I feel it's really important. And, I have approximately, 30 years of military experience, beginning from, 1981 to 2013. And each job that I held, each mission that I was on, there was a procedure that was laid out, that was passed down and taught from the NCOs to the junior enlisted, and we learned our process moving up. So in the corporate world, I don't think it's any different or any less imperative to have, rules and regulations that are ironclad, but also have guidance that allows you to move around and expand. Give them the mission, give them a way to accomplish the mission, and allow them to do it and express their personality. But people need guidelines, because I dare say that critical thinking and analytical thinking are not necessarily prime topics taught. So therefore, you take away the situation where they have to overthink or think for themselves too much. You give them, this is how it's done. This is the who, what, when, where, why. Basic mind map. Lay it out. Here's how it's done. Each module is done this way in a project management, project management storyboard, so to speak. Give them that, and then you let them execute. Give them the tools and resources. But you have to teach them what your company requirements are, what your company culture is, and this is how we do things. If you have improvements, or you find something new, certainly share, but here's your standard operating procedure. If you find something better, we can, be open to elevating that or expanding that. It's important. They have to know the basics.
Yeah. So you being becoming the editor-in-chief in 2012, right? How has the media industry changed since then? I know how it changed, right? But for everybody, for my listeners and people that are watching the engagement part on it, how have it changed for you from 2012, from your experience?
Well, what I experienced, like I said, I began with Yahoo. The Yahoo Contributor Network was a digital network. It was part of Yahoo, but that was my first foray into the digital media space. And, they taught the upside down pyramid method, which I still use today. Getting the first 100 words, to be your most important. That's your who, what, when, where, why. Consolidate all that consolidate a whole meal into a teaspoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, though, what has changed? The content is great, the editorial is great, but the storytelling, the narrative, what's changing is now you have to not just say the who, what, when, where, and why. You have to invite the emotion from the subject. You have to pass that emotion on. So you have to be, I'm not a relationship person, obviously. I'm old and grizzled and grumpy, right? So, but you still have to make it relational and set the tone that makes people lean forward into the story rather than fight you through the story. Does that make sense?
Yep, that make a whole lot of sense. And going to that, right? Because Hype Magazine's been around for a long time.
Working on 25 years, buddy.
Yes. So what able y'all to stay remain influenced, remain in the hip hop, remain in the entertainment media? Because honestly, I thank y'all for writing an article on it. I appreciate that. I think that was in 2023, right? When I was doing scholarships and stuff like that for kids,
yes.
right? And
from your grandmother?
Yep. Yes. From my mom.
Your mom.
Yep. Yes. And y'all still remain not only in the hip hop space, but in that media space too. How y'all just stay relevant, man? Because you see a lot of magazines that was back then that's no longer, but y'all still running, man. Y'all still trucking.
One of the secrets I feel is that we remain connected to people. We don't gossip. We don't do beef. You won't find profanity usually in our editorial coverage. You won't find guttural language. We speak the King's English. I demand that. And if you can't do that, then you're no longer on the site. And I don't care who you are, you're gone. How we remained independent was by first maintaining journalistic integrity, continuing to be a good community citizen, a corporate citizen, in each community that we touch, from the East Coast to the South to the Midwest to the West Coast. And we cover everything news from hip hop to Hollywood. We're not genre specific. That has helped us. We have great relationships. People say your network is your net worth. Well, as a media outlet, certainly your network of comms people from the majors, having great relationships with places like OWN, which we do exclusives for, Time Magazine, which we aggregate their covers. We aggregate GQ, we aggregate Essence, Forbes magazine sends us there. They all want our audience, and they all know that we tell the truth. We're fact-based journalism. We're not emotional journalism. And we've said no and financed the shit ourselves. Just bottom line.
Bottom line.
Not gonna lie, from student loan money, using living expense checks from student loan money to print, to our CEO saying, you know what, I don't care, and emptying her coin jar. So we were matching up together so we could print. We didn't care. People wanted we had a call from a magazine consultant and another magazine called Hype Hair. I'm gonna put them out there because they really irritated me. They got on my third and final nerve, and we recorded this conversation, and they were like, "Whoa!" And actually, we had we had Nick Cannon and what's her name? I can't remember the lady's name. I apologize. Michelle. K. Michelle. Sorry. First cover, right? We printed that. We sold out nationwide in 2 weeks. Our very first issue, from Barnes and Noble's, Books A Million, the military bases, the prisons. We sold out print 2 weeks. We got a call from Hype Hair, from the owners of Hype Hair. It went from a Black owned to a Jewish owned company. And these two guys got on with the magazine consultant who had helped bring us actually the physical distribution. And they were complaining because we had a Black woman on the cover. We're not talking about hair. We're talking about K. Michelle and new album and this, that, and the third. And we got Nick Cannon, but they're complaining to us because we had a Black woman. It just made us double down our efforts to not take advertisers, to not take sponsorships, because we believed in it. I'm fully retired military, right? If I don't want to get out of bed, I'm good.
Right.
I do this because I love it. And because those two white guys, and I'm not a racist or anything like that, but those two white guys had the temerity to get on the telephone on a recorded call and tell us, well, we don't want you to cover Black women on the cover of your magazine. Brother, I will go bankrupt before I allow this magazine to go under. Just because of that. So it's a miracle of God. God has definitely reached down and touched us and made it, so that we could keep moving.
Yeah.
But not caring what other people think, not succumbing to the pressure to be clickbaiters. This has gained us the trust of not only the streets and artists, because we're not going to say anything they didn't say. If we don't talk to you, we're not probably going to write about you. Fake quotes or any of that garbage. We don't do any of that. But that has kept us afloat, and it has made us friends. Like I said, the Oprah Winfrey Network, TLC, Warner Brothers, Universal Music, Warner Pictures. They come to us because they trust us.
Mhm.
And this has helped us maintain. The hype pays for itself. You know, we're not rich,
Right.
and we use small team tactics,
Mm-hmm.
to use a special forces term, but we are force multipliers for other major media outlets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're a tier one ourselves. And then we got the blessing of Google. We're now a Google topic and a Google news source.
Mm.
So who's gonna kick us out the box, player?
Right.
Who? Who? I mean, there was a outlet in 2023 that began. I believe they were called the Messenger or something like that. They had a $50 million budget. They
Mm-hmm.
came from terrestrial television, network TV, and they decided to go to digital. So they wouldn't listen to me. And in 7 months, they were bankrupt. They ceased operations by email in 7 months. I said, damn, is Trump working for y'all? Is that how I do it? Y'all just quit by email? Social media posts? $50 million. And they can't do what we have done independently for almost 25 years.
That says a lot.
No outside investment, no outside stakeholders. It's all close hold.
Mm. How did that feel being independent and no one can't really tell y'all what and how to do things? Because see, a lot of people, and sorry, but a lot of people don't understand the independent role and how that plays in today's market. See, independent is no sponsors, right? So you get to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and it's okay, right? And I see a lot of outlets that have a whole lot of media that holds a whole lot of sponsors, right? And I say, look how they look a year later because it's so demanding.
You give up part of your soul, you know, when you accept outside influence. And so places, you know, outlets that we had like Ebony Jet magazine and the original Essence company, Ebony itself as a tier one, you know, when Mr. Johnson and those guys made their decisions, financial decisions to, you know, sell out economically, not spiritually or, you know, but they sold out, made great business moves. The flex is that we don't depend on advertisers. The flex is if I tell you I don't give a, I can meet you in the middle of the street and show you I don't give a. I don't owe anyone. We don't owe as a brand. We don't owe anyone. We're not beholden to anyone but the fans, supporters, and people who want the truth. We're beholden to tell the truth and give the full story, and which we do. Similarly, you know, Jargo Media, Black owned, close held, great stories, independent, you know, self-financed, but you know, have other businesses that help to contribute to, you know, the overall pot. But as a central focus, you know, the Hype Magazine, Jargo Media, my institute, you know, I founded the Doby Institute for Editorial Intelligence, which we apply all of these things to the outlets that we run. And the biggest flex is being able to say, no, I don't want to cover that. No, we're not going to participate. And no, we're not going to sponsor. No, you can't use my logo. And to be able to say, you know, if I don't get out of bed, Jamila and I, if we don't get out of bed the next day, we good.
Yeah.
You know, we're good. So that's the biggest flex. And when it comes down to having, and the other flexes for me, as I do have a little bit of an ego, you know, as a journalist, when you have Forbes when you have Time, when you have Essence, when you have GQ, send you their covers to aggregate to your audience. Who gonna tell me what?
Right.
MTV, before it faded to black, we were doing the MTV Global Artist Push. They would have their monthly Global Push artists that would come through, the Hype magazine. Great relationship with, Lil Man and his Laugh Out Loud network. You know what I mean? So, when Kevin Hart was doing Cold as Balls, they were coming to us. We were one of the first to put out that series, on the digital. So the flex, I'm gonna put mine on the table. You know what I mean? It was an old joke. Richard Pryor said, "Yeah, this water deep. Yeah, it's cold too."
Yeah.
So we could put ours on the table, let them put theirs on the table, and see who's really accomplished what, with what, or without what.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So let's talk about, you being an author and a researcher, right? Because you got the playbook of how to do SEO, right? What motivates you to actually write that book, the new SEO playbook for digital journalism? But you got the information, and I appreciate you giving us the information, because a lot of people just keep it. An old saying from a man that I love deeply, and he said, the biggest money makers in the Black community are all in the grave. And he says that because he said that a lot of times we don't like to share information. So you want the information, a lot of us in our community take it with it. They take the information with them. He said that's where all the money is at if you really want to know, because the knowledge is money. And for you to have this knowledge, for you to have the patent, because we're going to say the patent for it, what motivated you to actually write that book?
I became familiar with this term called around the corner thinker.
Explain.
Being able to see what's coming, not be a strictly linear thinker, but look around the corner and see what's happening, right? So as the print world was going, so for example, I would say 2014 Time magazine, Time and the Hype magazine, we were both on the same distributor, right? And the print distributor. So Time decided that it was going to change distributors, and it did it in an email. God, seems to be a disease. Doing it by email, they quit. We got an email from the distributor saying, "Oh, you got to find a new distributor," because now we had just printed, bro.
Wow.
Just paid 20 grand to the printer, and we've got magazines sitting there. Dr. Wilkerson, man, within 72 hours, she had us a new distribution deal, and we were back on shelves, didn't miss a beat, right? So as I continued to watch and see the tier one, what were considered tier one media outlets like CNN, ABC, Fox, all that, right? Lose their balls, basically. They refused to tell the truth. They would bend and kowtow to whoever, would allow them to stay on air. When the chairman of the FCC says, "Oh, because you're writing bad things about Taco Meat Man, you may not get renewed," and they started to capitulate. Well, we don't have that obligation. And so people, the next generation of journalists and digital contributors have to know how to navigate outside of that closed-in fence. So how do you do it? Well, somebody's got to teach them. Well, that's me. And so what inspired me to learn all of this was knowing that print is not going to be the same. It will never recover and be, return to its grand days of glory within the media space, and everything was going digital. Mm-hmm. So there are a million different websites. Well, how do we stand out? So the same thing I'm teaching storytellers and journalists, we had to do as a platform. And that's how the Hype magazine became the digital laboratory for my research project, which became my dissertation, which became published and is now known across the world. The Hype magazine was the catalyst for that. Now, with the weakening of the overall media structure and the news telling structure and the clickbait, ecosystem coming and bubbling up out of the mud, right? You got to teach the new journalists how to write with integrity, increase their storytelling ability, and add weight to their narrative. So this is my responsibility. So like I said, I became a journalist in between missions in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. One day was a very busy and dramatic day in my life. I sat down with Death, had lunch, and he sent me back. So this is my mission, is to teach. Simple.
Talking about teaching, let's talk about that a little bit, because, I love for our teachers to give our viewers, tips and trades, right? So for our viewers and people that's going to be watching the replay and people that's going to be listening to it, what is one SEO tip that our viewers can apply immediately after this interview?
Oh, immediately? Okay. Create your headline. Add a keyword into the headline. The headline shouldn't be longer than 60 words. If you're writing for a website, you need an internal link and an external link. An external link is, let's point to the OT radio show, take the link there, which I will do. Hey, I was interviewed on OT radio. So I'm going to take the link from the OT radio show. That's my external link. My internal link is going to be saying, whatever I am talking about, journalism, news, or whatever, I'm going to hypertext. I'm going to create a hypertext link that opens into a separate page. I'm going to also refer to this platform, use that link, make sure the hyperlink opens into a separate page. So that keeps the people on my site, even though they're on your platform, they're still clocking watch time on my site.
Right.
So it's really that simple. Those are 3 things.
Yeah, you gave us 3, so y'all got to hear 3 tips real fast right at this. So what trends should our creators should be watching in 2026 and beyond, especially our content creators?
I'm not totally qualified to speak, as to what content creators should be doing. But if you're a content creator that would like to migrate into the media space as a commentator, or what we call citizen journalists, take a look at the platform Newsbreak. Probably it's all headline news. People are familiar with it probably by now. You get the alerts. It started out as a local citizen journalism kind of platform where you took videos of what's happening in your city. You put it on this platform. Well, now it's an international headline gatherer, and it is the animated version of the Associated Press. Basically, it takes all the headlines from all the different platforms and puts them out there. So the trends are going to be learning how to mind map a narrative in less than 300 words. If you want to know what mind mapping is, I'll break that down for free because you already learned it in public school, right?
Yeah.
You did a book report. What were the fundamentals of the book report? Who, what, when, where, and why.
The W's.
We're right back to that. That's the new trend. We're repeating history. You're going back to the storytelling, the respect for the storytelling, the respect for cohesive thought. Stop rambling, talking that woo, 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 wop, the bam, boom. Shut the hell up. Tell the story. Tell it the way it's supposed to go. Don't embellish with your opinion. If it's an op-ed, clearly label it op-ed. Don't throw your opinion in a factual-based feature story. It's really important. The new trend is the return to authentic storytelling. Personalized storytelling is the carrot in front of the horse that makes the algorithm pick you up.
What? Whew. Hey.
That speaks a lot right there.
Hey. I keep telling people when I bring people on the show, they're going to give you some information. And we want to talk about solutions. Well, I'm going to give you a solution and I'm going to point you into the direction where you can get all that information from.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold back. I mean, I'm not going to give you everything. I do have a consulting business.
Right.
I am a professional consultant. I am a media consultant, an SEO consultant. I design personalized custom SEO campaigns for Fortune 500 companies down to independent labels. And so, but once again, the new SEO playbook is available for free if you're a Kindle or Amazon Prime subscriber. You can read it for free. It's also available in print on Amazon. It gives you literally, and this is the basic, because this is the second version. So the first version was a direct derivative of the scientific paper, right? And it's more technical. This one is more lay person friendly. So I'm literally in middle school language, taking you by the hand and walking you through each and every step that you need to utilize. Yeah. So, yeah. Did I answer your question again?
Yes, you did. I appreciate you. Yeah. I always ask people on my last question. I always ask them like a one sentence thing, right? To sum up something in one sentence. So we're gonna go and we're gonna ask this question, right? So Hype Magazine, it's like a digital laboratory for your SEO research. If you had to predict the future of journalism in one sentence, what would that be?
If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space.
Wow. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Clarify that for our listeners in the back. Clarify that for our listeners up top. Clarify that for our people that is watching. Clarify it, because I know what it means.
If you're following the pack, you're just part of a blob. There was a black and white movie that they colorized called The Blob. It was just a bunch of jello rolling through, killing folks and riding through the skating rinks in the drive-in theaters. If you were living on the edge, that means you're living in a visceral truth. You're feeling the truth. And you're telling that truth without dulling the edges of the knife or the razor. You got to be living on the edge. You're just flat out taking up too much space, and you need to move. Thank you, Ludacris, for that song. I love it.
Move, get out the way.
That
So, what's
mm,
next for you? What should we be looking for
mm.
forward from you?
Well, I'm gonna have more fun. I'm gonna step out and talk more. Probably do. I just got my first voice acting role as the faceless newscaster, right? On a feature film called Letter of the Law,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an amazing film by writer director Rick E. Cutts. You can get it. It's streaming now. It's on the BTH network. I know that it exhibited at a film festival recently and got picked up during the first night of sale night.
Wow.
And then we're already streaming, and we're like the #1 trending feature film on that. So I've had offers now for more voice acting, which is wild because I interviewed the director, Rick Cutts, for the Hype magazine for a live session. And from that, he offered me a voice acting spot on this feature film.
Wow.
And bro, that was the worst feeling in my life, was to have to read things 20, 30, 40, 50 times as a professional communicator in order to really get the emotion and do it the right way. And then when I submitted it, there were no recuts. So I put the pressure on myself, delivered it. It was accepted first round. I'm in. I have 3 cool little pieces. And I didn't even know I was telling the story of the story at the beginning. So I opened the film, which is
wow.
So I'm going to do a little more of that, more teaching. I have some speaking engagements. I'm waiting on contract from a pharmaceutical company to do stuff. Johnson & Johnson is the company, and so I'm waiting for situation there. I will continue to expand, and also I'll be in Houston teaching for anybody who may be interested. For Track Society, I'll be live from the Pentagon July 3rd. I'll be teaching interview skills. We'll have, and then for Track Society's track meet in September, I'll be back in Houston teaching at the Avant Media Institute. I will be leading an interview cipher, which means, just like the beat drops in the cipher, you don't know what you're going to get. You just got to ride. It's the same thing, only we're using interview questions for independent artists and people. And then you'll go from my cipher right over to DJ Fred Malone from Chicago 77.3 onto a live radio interview. You'll be live. So we're teaching people how to talk and represent themselves in public and giving them tools and resources. The Hype magazine will be instituting our young journalists program. It'll be a more formalized teaching situation. More to come from that. But you can go to thehypemagazine.com and find out more as regards Jargo Media for you creatives who are, more worried about the algorithm and not worried about losing your IP. Come on over to Jargo Media, where you own your IP, you own your contacts. I'll be pushing initiatives there as well, along with the team. So that's jargomedia.com, JAROGO media.com. Everybody knows how to spell the Hype magazine. Follow me there. I'll tell you more. I don't talk a lot. I had fun here, and thank you for the conversation, man.
Hey man, I appreciate you. First of all, I gotta appreciate Hype Magazine for not only, pitting me in the magazine, but I actually ended up doing media. I had an interview with Hype Magazine too. So I appreciate all the things that y'all are doing. Y'all keep on, turning the channel. Y'all keep on moving the needle. And I appreciate you even giving us tips and trades on to do things, especially in the media and journalist world as we live in today. And thank you for being the pioneer, the founder of the SEO. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. Listen, man.
I don't think I'm the founder of SEO.
I gotta say,
I am the master.
Yeah.
Of SEO, and everybody's following the lead, and I'm waiting for a student to become the teacher.
And that's why I say the founder. And here's the reason why I say the founder, because you know there's people out here that do it, but you got to go through the pattern. You got to go through the maker, right? Because I could find an apple, but that seed grew it, right? So you are growing it. You are the seed to everything that we are doing right now in this space. And you're giving us knowledgeable information, and we appreciate you.
You're making me, boy, you putting me, I'm not trying to ride too high in the saddle, because you know you make a big target when you ride high in the saddle. I'm gonna do some skits. You're absolutely right, Mac. I'm gonna do some skits with you. You know, I'm gonna have some fun. You'll see me in the AI. Someone I really trust happens to be in the chat. Macaroni Productions. Appreciate you, Marcel. My business manager is also in the chat. Colleague Pepper Thomas from the Hot Pepper Show. Appreciate everybody. B Pace. Appreciate you, Miss Krista Willis, the Hype Magazine editor at large, is in the building. You know, you have a really great platform. And as I told Kelly, I don't grant interviews often, but I did watch, and I enjoy your style, and I felt confident that this would be a valuable conversation. That's why I'm here, brother.
Oh man, listen, I appreciate you, man, so much. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
So listen, enjoy your day, but before you go, if you know my saying, if someone asks you how you doing, you tell them you're doing better than yesterday. And remember, your voice, your mission, and your purpose matter. So y'all keep on striving, keep on raising the voice, keep on striving for that mission, and you make sure that purpose aligns with everything that you do in life. Because when you have a purpose, you have a great life. All right, y'all. Well, listen, man, I will see y'all again here on OT Radio Show. Same time, same place here tomorrow. Hey, Doc, I appreciate you. Stay on the line for 1 second. Hey, y'all, make sure you subscribe, follow, share, like, and remember, like I always say, someone asks you how you doing, just tell them you're doing better than yesterday. All right, y'all. Thanks, Doc.